Welcome to this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase, Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning. Hope everyone had a great and safe Labor Day weekend, 3-day weekend there. We were off yesterday, no podcast, but regular schedule to you the rest of the week. Obviously, we'll talk a good bit today about Ole Miss's 47-27 win over Texas Tech. Matt Luke spoke to the media yesterday as well. A lot of that content up at rebelgrove.com. We'll go through that as the show moves forward today. Ole Miss and Southern Illinois. It is the home opener for the Rebels. That is Saturday at 3 o'clock at Vaught Hemingway Stadium. So I'm sure many of you will be in town for that. As we get going today, I'll tell you that when you're coming to town this weekend, go pick up some ribs at the Oxford Exxon, have them for Friday night. Maybe you even had them for Labor Day. They were offering a special the last couple days. I took advantage of that. Hopefully many of you did as well. You can also get the Speed Pass Plus app when you come in. You save money at the pump. You save money, you save time, it's efficient, it's easy, and it protects you as well. You don't have to worry about credit card skimmers or identity theft with the Speed Pass Plus app. You can stop in, you can get a daiquiri, and do many other things there at the Oxford Exxon. So stop on in, Highway 6 West, and again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call the number, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's that simple. It's right to the bottom line. There's no haggling. So you get a great Ford product. You get tremendous sales, a sales service afterwards. After the sale is what I meant to say. They'll take care of you. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He wants to build your trust. He'll do it. Take my word for it. I've done it. I've been thrilled with my purchase and with the service that I've received after that purchase. You will be too. Make it even better. Tell Corey that you heard about the podcast. You heard about the dealership from the podcast. Mention any of our podcasts. It's $500 off. Again, 662-257-1900.
So we did the lines here in a little bit. Looking forward to the next week. I think everybody had a pretty good week at Neal's picks. I'm not sure
Except
anybody.
me. I don't think I did very well.
Did you not really?
I really don't. But that's okay. I never start off well. I usually finish better than I started.
You're a closer.
Well, by osmosis, I end up seeing some football. The reality is, of you, me, Jeffrey, and damn near anyone else, if you were to put on a bar graph who watches the most college football, I'm way at the bottom.
You lost Washington and you lost LSU. You might have gotten everything else, though. I think a lot of us ran the table on a lot of the other games. I think maybe Jeffrey and I went 7-1. I think we both lost one game, but
I've got to sit down and do it today.
I lost Carolina. If my one loss is a 30-point spread where I just picked the wrong side of it, I feel pretty good about the week because that whatever. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, forward. I went contrarian on Washington in large part because I thought they would do it. They almost did.
They did.
It wasn't a terrible pick.
No, not at all. Like had you picked Tennessee, that would have been a terrible pick.
Yeah, I wasn't that dumb. LSU, me, and a lot of other people just missed on both sides of that game. Yeah. Missed on the Miami part of it, missed on the LSU part of it. I'm sure we'll talk about that in a minute. But, yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, Neal's Picks is a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with it. I enjoy writing the captions. I get to kind of take shots at people. I get to make fun of me. I get to make fun of you. At some point, I'll make fun of Jeffrey.
See, that's kind of the point is, people complain about Neal's Picks and they get offended. You do realize we make fun of ourselves as much as anyone else, right?
More than anyone else.
Yeah, come on.
I make fun of me literally more than anyone else in the entire thing. I've made fun of Corey and Barrett already once because they're nowhere near as attractive as their sister. That's the whole point of it. But if you're ever following Neal's Picks, actually looking for betting tips, I'm the wrong guy because, and I don't mean this is not a contrarian thing. You will understand if you think about it being your job. We get 1 or 2 Saturdays a year where we don't have a game to cover. Like this Saturday, we cover a game that starts at 3 o'clock. Mm-hmm. All right, here's my Saturday.
All right.
I've got to get up early enough to probably leave here by 7 because Campbell's taking the ACT one last time at New Albany High School.
Oh, I didn't know that, really.
So I'm taking her to New Albany.
How'd you talk her into taking it again?
I showed her a chart of what it would look like if she could bounce another point.
Okay.
She's mature enough to appreciate the money.
Okay.
So anyway, I got to be there, and then I'll hang out somewhere in New Albany probably and get a cup of coffee and stream something on Netflix probably, realistically.
Okay.
I'll get back here, 12:30, and get ready to go, and I'll go to a football game that we cover at 3 o'clock. That game will end at what, Chase? 6:20? Media stuff will start at 6:40. We'll get out of the stadium around 9. I'll get home at 9:15. My point is, I'm not watching football. I'm watching one game.
You see more Big Ten in weird ways most weeks. I see more Pac-12 in most weeks than
because
anything
you
else.
come home and watch it.
Yeah.
And I come home from it, and that's the last thing I'm going
That's
to
my
watch.
wind down is we will get done around 8:30, 9 o'clock, 8 somewhere in there on Saturday. I'll come home, I'll eat something, I'll pour a drink, and I'll watch 2 hours of Pac-12 football and then go to bed. That's what I will do.
Yeah, and let's see. I could pretty much tell you what I'll be watching if I watch something. Because 9:15, I come home. Carson's got a soccer tournament in Memphis. He's playing up with a group that's a year older than him. So I'm sure I'll want to hear about that if they're back yet. And then I'm looking to see what the schedule is Saturday. The Cubs play at 6, so I'll be distracted in the press box while we're working. The Brewers play at 6, so I'll be done. Yeah, I won't. I mean, I realistically I'll watch like the Food Network at 9 o'clock just to wind down. I'll turn on something, or I'll come in here and stream something on Amazon Prime or Netflix or something. That's my point is I don't watch tons of college football because it's just I will have already been so exposed to it.
All right, so we'll get into plenty of Neal's picks later. We'll get into lines here in a bit. We did not have an instant analysis following Saturday's game because of my computer failure that has now been solved. Probably should have been solved earlier. I tested fate a little bit and lost, but here we are. So I love a lot of overreactions, not just with Ole Miss, but in general, week one. It's the only sample size we have, so the general population takes it and runs 1,000 different ways with it. News first, Jalen Jones out for the year, ACL tear. The only significant injury from Saturday's game as it pertains to Ole Miss. It changes some things. We talked to Matt Luke, Wesley McGriff about that yesterday. You can find that content at rebelgrove.com. It changes the flexibility because Jalen has experience moving back to safety. Now safety is thinner because of that. At corner, they have a little more depth, but they don't have a Jalen Jones. He was their best cover corner.
The best cover corner, and it really wasn't close.
No, so now there's going to be a lot of reliance on Ken Webster to be healthy quickly. He was very grabby Saturday, I thought, in what I watched of him. They're going to count on Miles Hartsfield even more. Keydron Smith, Jalen Julius are going to get some more looks back there.
Smith is about to become an impact player, whether he's ready or not.
Yeah, it's time, just because of circumstance.
Again, it's one of those deals where when people ask, how will you remember the Hugh Freeze era as we get away from the whole massage thing? I think we're going to say, man, they just did not recruit on the defensive side of the football, the depth that you need on defense. They're not there. And that was obvious. Jalen Jones is a big loss. It's a big loss.
Kick returner, too. Tylen Knight and Elijah Moore will take over those duties as a kick returner, but not as big as corner. Somebody will return kicks. And in today's college football, there's going to be a lot of touchbacks anyway, so it is what it is.
He did take one to the house Saturday.
He did take one to the house Saturday, 94 yards. And, no, this could be good or bad. He had 7 tackles in the first quarter yesterday defensively. But
he's a big loss.
Yeah.
One of their 3 or 4 better defensive players.
Mm-hmm. 2016 freshman All-American. Had a good year last year. Was okay.
Is a leader.
Yeah.
He's a great kid. I mean, a phenomenal kid.
Two out of the last 3 years now, they've lost their best defensive back in the first quarter of the season opener.
Just unreal.
Yeah. To knee injuries. But otherwise, I thought, I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. I don't think anybody's reinventing the wheel with analysis following Saturday. I thought they were what we expected them to be, not to directly quote Dennis Green there. Defensively, a lot of conversation the last 2 days. Are they the same? Are they better? Are they this? I tell you what I was impressed by on Saturday with them defensively, and it was that I think last year a lot of times everything was scattershot and they couldn't get the stop in the right time. I think for so much of this defense, it's going to be about timing. They're never going to shut people down for 4 quarters. They're never going to be this dominant defense. But if they can at least find their best moments in the right times more often than not, they can have success, and they did that against Texas Tech on Saturday. That thing had cut it to 10. Ole Miss went 3 and out or whatever it was, maybe 1 first down. And then they immediately got a stop. They give it back to Ole Miss. Lodge fumbles, gives it back to Tech again down 10, and they get another stop. They were able to pull off back-to-back quick stops there when the game could have easily gotten a little squirrely. Instead, they get the stops. Ole Miss hits A.J. Brown down the field for the touchdown, and that pushed it out to 17 and put the game away at that point. So that's what this thing's about for Ole Miss. I thought that Tech, even though they're playing that freshman quarterback after McClain Carter got injured, still, last time I'm going to do that because we'll stop talking about him now. McClain Carter got injured. He wasn't great. He did get the ball out of his hand, though. But the defensive line's got to be better. Linebackers are still coming. I thought Sonogo had a pretty good day. I thought he directed traffic well. I pointed it out Sunday in the article that I wrote. His leadership qualities were very, very high on Sunday. There was a moment there late in the game where Custis made a big stop, and now Custis had a heck of a game. And he was going to get a personal foul. It was coming. And Sonogo grabbed him and basically threw him back toward the Ole Miss sidelines. Saved Ole Miss potentially or Texas Tech a first down and a 15-yard penalty there. So saw some good things out of Sonogo. Saw some good things out of some other people. Ruggs was in concussion protocol this week. But all in all, about the defense I expected, and then I guess intangibly maybe they were a little better than I had expected.
Talking about the defense here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought defensively they were more resilient than they were a year ago. I don't know that they're any better or worse. It's one game. I can't tell yet. I thought they were more resilient. They made the 2 big stops you just referenced. The one after the Lodge turnover I thought was huge. I thought it was the possession of the game. Early they gave up that 90-yard drive right after Ole Miss had scored on the second play, and you thought, well, here we go. This is going to be the same defense as a year ago, and it wasn't. They played a lot better after that. Their linebacker play is what it is. I keep getting these people that ask, how come so-and-so's not playing? How come Zakarian Baker's not playing? His pass coverage skills aren't there. There's more to being a linebacker than being big and fast. You do have to have some skill. Why is Josh Clark not playing? Well, I mean, I'm kind of being real here, and this is the part where for fans it's hard sometimes. Why is my guy not? Why are all of my guys wearing my uniform not playing? Well, because some of them aren't. I mean, they played a ton of people. If you didn't play, it's because you're either not ready to play or the coaches don't trust in you right now.
They're not beholden to age right now. If you can be an athlete on the field, you're playing.
When they played 20-something people in the first quarter on defense, you played. Tisdale played a lot and played well. I thought Kadir Shepard played well. I thought Sonogo played well. It was one of Bing Dukes' better games. You mentioned Custis. He was good. I thought Dasher was good. I thought Jones was really good before he went down with the injury. I thought they're okay. There's a lot of work to be done.
Ken didn't look all the way back.
No, he looked like he was still kind of nursing an injury. Because he's nursing an injury. Some of the guys that you anticipate just sort of being steady were steady. Zedrick Woods, Moore, those guys.
Benito's got to be more active.
He does. I'm just not sure Benito's going to be the same player.
Yeah, it's fair.
I thought Tisdale was impactful. Shepard was impactful. Like you said, it's not going to be a great defense. It's not going to have to be a great defense because it's got a chance to be a great offense. People said, well, I thought they were offensively. They scored 40 offensive points going 0 for 4 in the red zone. Now, that was not a good team on the other side. Before everybody does the hot take thing, if you give me the over-under at 3.5 on Texas Tech wins this year, I strongly consider the under. 3.5. They're bad. And their season's going to evolve into chaos in the next few weeks. I didn't think they were a very good team on.
They have 2 gimmies on their schedule.
That's it. Lamar and
Kansas.
Yeah.
Nobody's losing to Kansas.
No. Congrats to Nichols.
I'll know more in a couple of weeks. They play Houston at home in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But I look at their I looked at them and they just weren't very good. But Ole Miss beat them and beat them handedly on a neutral site, quasi-neutral site.
Frankly, it was an Ole Miss crowd.
Yeah. But it wasn't the atmosphere.
It wasn't an electric environment.
Let me say this. I was up in the press box. The press box is closed in. I don't know whether it was electric or not. You couldn't tell where I was. I was about 300 yards off the floor. I was closer to the moon than I was the field.
Kind of like Superdome. They've moved it real high, too, now.
Yeah. Beautiful facility, by the way. Just fantastic. It's my 3rd time in it, I think.
Okay.
Really impressed. I don't know. They're better offensively. They have a better running game than I thought they would have. Phillips is an impactful running back.
Phillips went for 204 on the day on 16 touches, scored 2 long touchdowns of 64 and 39 yards. It is the most yards by an Ole Miss player in his debut. It is the 10th most rushing yards in a game in school history. The most yards since Brandon Bolden had 228 or something against Fresno State in 2010, as I remembered. And the big thing, I wrote about this too, the 2 big numbers for me with Phillips is, everybody goes, yeah, he had all his yards, but he got loose. Taking out his 2 touchdown runs that were both considerable length, he still averaged 7.14 yards per carry, and he only had 1 of his 16 rushes that went for negative yards. I thought that was telling. It's also kind of interesting. They ran basically up the gut almost all day with Phillips and everybody else. They didn't have 1 single rush off left tackle off Little's hip during the game. Not once. I think they went left twice, but they were both way outside.
I think their running game's going to get better.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get more efficient. I thought Tamu played a good game. Not a great game.
No, he was just steady.
He was good. Jordan's going to get better. Jordan's going to have better games than the one that he played Saturday. Jordan will tell you that. I'm not being critical of Jordan Tamu at all. He was good. But that was not a great game on his part. He missed Phil talked about 2 of them yesterday. I saw 1 live. He made a bad read.
Yeah.
Well, he made a bad read on one of the red zone plays. DeMarcus Lodge was wide open, and if he just goes there, it's a touchdown. But he didn't see him. Not a criticism, just a point. They're going to get better in the red zone.
Yeah.
They're not going to go 0 for 4 consistently in the red zone. They're going to get better in the red zone. It's an explosive offense. They can hit you with big plays. They're hard to defend. There's lots of weapons.
Braylon Sanders had a big catch.
Sanders is good. He's becoming an impactful player. They didn't use the tight ends much at all. They went to Knox once, didn't go to Cooley at all. That you're going to see more of those guys. They'll be benefited when Eric Swinney comes back because it'll be a guy that can give a break.
Right now there's no break. It's Phillips or nothing right now.
Yeah, it's the fall off from 1 to 2 right now is.
That's why not that we're going to be great, but that's why the Swinney mononucleosis, the Penniman injury are just huge for this team because there can't be that breather guy right now in that running back game for Ole Miss. So.
No, they've got to go out and recruit an impactful running back.
Yeah.
Got to go get one. I mean, the needs in recruiting are brutally obvious when you watch the football team. But I thought it was a good win. It was a good win. It wasn't a great win. It wasn't a program-shaping win or any of that stuff. But it was a good win. I thought that I'm amazed at how quickly Matt Luke has changed culture inside that program in a very positive way. And you can see it on the field. It's a workman-like, but they have fun. There was a lot of energy on their sideline. I thought they played a clean game. I thought they played an efficient game. I thought they played a smart game. It's not the most talented team in the world, but they get most of the juice out of the orange, as they say, each day. And I think you'll see that all year. Will that be enough to go 10-2? I don't think so. But can they win some games? Yeah, they can win some games. And I wrote this, I think this is going to end up being, from our perspective, kind of a fun season to cover because there's going to be a lot of volatility and unpredictability, which makes what we do interesting and fun. If you're a fan, I would make sure that you pack antacids.
We'll continue that conversation in 1 second. First, the podcast is brought to you in part by Locker Stockers as they take the hassle out of stocking your locker or suite for this game day season. The customer places the order and they handle purchase and delivery to your locker or suite before game day at Vaughn Hemingway Stadium. So take advantage of a preseason deal still. They haven't played a home game yet, so you got a couple days left to take advantage of that. 662-586-1487 or info@lockerstockers.com.
I posted 10 weekend thoughts up on the site on Sunday. If you're just getting around back to your computer, it's on rebelgrove.com. It's part of the Rivals Network, rivals.com. It's about $864 a month for an annual subscription, about $9.95 a month if you just go monthly. Anyway, 10 thoughts are posted there on the site. They're sponsored by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than Harry. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. It's harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you are looking for. The results that you see are updated daily. You can send him an email, and he'll take care of the rest. It's ha@harryalexander.com. We've been telling you about Robert Gambrell and Associates for a while. Robert knows that many of the people listening to this podcast will never need a bankruptcy attorney or a Social Security disability attorney. However, many of you may be interested in reviewing your financial situation to consider asset protection. This is a part of what a good bankruptcy attorney does. Also, many of you have friends or relatives that get into difficult financial situations. Gambrell and Associates helps many people work through their times of hardship, whether that results in filing a bankruptcy petition or working to avoid a bankruptcy filing. Others are primarily worried about their credit score, and for those people, many times Gambrell and Associates refer their clients to Brian McLaurin, another advertiser on this podcast. Whatever your needs are, you, your relatives, or friends can get a free consultation for 1 hour or more to help make your decision on what is best for you. Look for Robert Gambrell on avvo.com or superlawyers.com, or call him at 662-281-8800. Today is the first day for Oxford Park Commission Youth Basketball registration. Sign up your son or daughter today for one of the leagues. The age range is 5 to 15. The cost is $50. Last year, more than 600 kids took part in the leagues, and the numbers are expected to be similar this year. So don't miss your opportunity when it comes time to sign up for OPC Youth Basketball. It's www.oxfordparkcommission.com.
Yeah, and there's no doubt. I mean, they were a prepared football team. You didn't see a ton of the first game errors that happen a lot to Ole Miss, that happen around the country with a lot of other teams. I was very impressed by the preparation and the attention to detail.
He ran a really good camp.
Yeah.
Very clear that Matt ran a really good camp. He didn't run one of these hokey camps full of meetings and drama and fake funerals and all sorts of crap with wristbands and are you in or not and can we all cry a little. He ran a camp. It was physical, but they dialed it back. He didn't do that crazy-ass redneck camp that some coaches do too, where it's, hey, we're going to be, by God, the meanest, nastiest bunch of rattlesnakes in the country, and where you play your biggest game on August the 21st. They didn't do that either. He was physical, but they dialed it back. Physical, dial it back. Gave him a day off. Gave him a couple of days off in a row, which is taboo in coaching. Kept them fresh. I thought they were fresh Saturday. They were fresher than Texas Tech. It was hot in Oxford in August. And a few times they went indoors and turned the air conditioner on, because God forbid you let guys – you pay attention to the science of hydration. I thought they were give him credit. The guy, it was his first camp. Last year doesn't count. Last year, man, that thing got thrown on him. It's like, hey, you got a big exam tomorrow in biology 408? Yeah, but I've never taken biology. Yeah, I don't care. The test is tomorrow. Good luck. I mean, you're not going to be all that prepared for the test. I mean, you might go cram and learn a few things, but you're not going to be ready. He clearly learned from whatever mistakes that he may have made last year in camp. I'm impressed with the guy. I thought they just were a very prepared football team. If you dropped somebody in and said which coach is the first-year coach in this game, he would never have guessed Matt Luke. He would have guessed Kingsbury.
Program in tumult, a program that is going to have a coaching change, and frankly, a program that just was not as talented. I mean, our pat on the back from the week is just because you got 10 starters back on defense doesn't mean you're any good. It means you got 10 starters back from a bad defense. Ole Miss protected the football. That was the one way they were going to lose that football game, was to have 5 turnovers. They did not do that. They protected the ball. Yeah, and give Tech credit. That was an earned turnover. But
yeah, sure. I mean, it was a good play.
Yeah, it was a good play. But they weren't very good. I mean, they just defensively they could not maintain Ole Miss's wide receivers. They obviously couldn't stop Scotty Phillips. It was a beatdown. It was one of several across the league on Saturday.
And let's give some credit to Wesley McGriff here for something.
Yeah,
Ole Miss doesn't have a ton of depth. Look around the country. I didn't watch tons of football, but man, every time that I looked on it, in fact, I lost the Washington game because of targeting. Ole Miss didn't have those. That was a disciplined team. I asked Wesley McGriff about it yesterday, and I got a pretty long, intelligent, detailed answer of, we talk about it every day. Ole Miss can't go out in the first quarter and lose Montrell Custis and Zedrick Woods to targeting calls. You can go out and do that. God, I can't wait to hit somebody, and by God, I'm just going to knock the shit out of them. And here I go, and now you're out of the game.
The kid from Miami was like 4 plays in on Sunday night.
So geeked up.
Yeah.
Oh, and he just couldn't wait to drop the wood on that guy, and he's gone.
Over.
You're gone. 4 plays into the freaking game. You're gone, and now you're into your depth. And Ole Miss can't do that. And to their everlasting credit on Saturday, as emotional as you are in day one, and you can't wait to – you go through a month of camp. And you finally get to show up, and you get to put on the uniforms everybody's been excited about wearing, and you're playing on an NFL field, and now you're playing somebody different. And, oh, man, you just can't wait to play. Anybody who's ever played knows that feeling. And you got to stay composed. I thought Ole Miss was composed on defense.
And it's such a hard rule because, I mean, you got, I mean, duh here, but elite athletes running around a football field, changing direction, changing angles so much that you have to be disciplined, or you could get targeting on every play because
if you lower the crown of your head at all, it's a risk.
Head has to be up and
straight up, and even then, man, it's weird. But
yeah, that's
you got to go in with your face.
And as crazy and as bad as they are in a lot of ways for college football, I thought for the most part all weekend, because I watched a pretty good bit of football, officials handled it where they reviewed it and they weren't beholden to the initial calls. They were fine with backing it off. I think they
reversed
understood.
one on Texas Tech. Because I watched it. I went, oh, come on.
Yeah, I think they understood the seriousness of an ejection, if you will. And unlike some Major League umpires, okay, we looked at it. We changed our mind.
Don't get me started on Major League umpires.
And we moved around. I thought it was really well done. I have no problems at all with it being an emphasis. I don't mind the 90 seconds it takes to pause and check stuff out. We're here 4 hours anyway.
Right.
And pretty good. Overall, I was pleased.
And I get this question. I'm doing a mailbag tomorrow. I've gotten lots of questions, and I thank you for them. I'll go ahead and answer one of them here. Everyone says, what do you think? Is it overcalled? I don't think it is. If you like football, and most of you probably do, and if you want football to continue, and most of you probably do, they've got to legislate some of the head injuries out of the game. And there's only one way to do that. And it's not 15-yard penalties.
No.
You can't get an emotional 19-year-old upset over a 15-yard penalty in the first quarter. He knows
you can take an opportunity out of.
He knows he's going to have to run when that happens. He's going to have to run on Monday, Sunday. Some strength coach is going to yell at him. He's already in phenomenal shape. He's a DB, for God's sake. What's another 10, 100-yard sprints? He'll hate it. He'll be pissed off, but he'll make it through it. Or they'll make him do that little bear crawl thing, 5 yards, drop and crawl and all that crap. It's just a pain in the ass. But it's not. You're not teaching a lesson. You take him out of a game. He doesn't get to play in the game. Well, that's a punishment. Because if you don't get to play in games, football's no fun. Football practice is not fun.
I got two weird quarterback stats here. One of these from Sunday night. One I'm just seeing this morning. Somebody linked, I think, both of us in it. Start with the one that actually has Ole Miss involved with it as well. The SEC West, and now look, several teams played cupcakes. I get that, but several didn't. They played top 10 teams and Texas Tech. The SEC West went 7-0. They outscored teams 329 to 107 on the week, beat two top 10 opponents. And here's the stat. The quarterbacks in the SEC West this week, 20 touchdowns and 0 interceptions as a division. Zero.
Thompson at State played really well.
He was incredibly inaccurate. He hit some big plays. He was like 13 of 34 or something.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't throw the ball away.
Yeah.
The kids at Arkansas, I think, played better than they thought would play.
I got a little quarterback deal going on there between the big kid and Ty Story. I can't think of the other. Cole Kelly. Yeah. Stidham was fine.
Stidham's a good quarterback. He's fine.
Burrow did. This is what's amazing. Everybody's going, "Oh my God, Joe Burrow." He was very average at best. Now LSU's won a lot of games with average at best, but he either didn't make the critical mistake or Miami dropped the critical mistake. But that was not superior quarterback play in the slightest.
Oh no!
He was incredibly mediocre.
He managed the game well.
He did.
He managed the game.
And
well.
LSU at the 21 other positions simply out-athleted Miami all over that football field.
If you want a hot take on LSU, it's this.
Their
defensive team speed is real.
Well, thanks.
I mean, their defensive team speed is rivals Alabama's.
Yeah, defensively they're very good.
They're fast.
They are.
They have impact players on all
they get
three
Christian
levels.
Fulton back. They're really good at corner. They're good.
They go from Greedy Williams being their best corner to maybe being their third best corner.
Yeah.
And Greedy Williams would be Ole Miss's best corner.
I'm really intrigued in 2 weeks when LSU plays Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn really good defensively. Frankly, got a lot of kind of Ole Miss in them a little bit where they throw it okay. They're not as dynamic as Ole Miss offensively, but in the slightest. They can't run right now. They're having a really hard time running the football.
Well, and people around that program.
And now, look, Washington's good. So, again, one game, sample sizes, all that stuff.
Well, if I told you that
but you're going to see some other defensive lines like that in this league.
If I told you that Washington went 11-2 and was in the playoff, you're not shocked.
No, I don't know if they can get in at 11-2, but, yeah, for purposes, I'll agree with you.
They were good. Browning's a good player. Auburn's really good up front on defense. I mean, really good. Really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
They throw 9-10 people at you up front that are dominant type players. And that wears you down over the course of time. It's like the baseball team that every at-bat is 8 pitches. Just wear you out. And then you get into the 5th inning and your pitcher's tired and got to get into your bullpen early, and all of a sudden they wear you out. And that's kind of what Auburn does. But A&M was more disciplined from talking to people who saw it. Jimbo's a good coach. I know everybody goes, he cheats. Yes, he does. Everyone cheats. He's a really good coach. Sumlin cheated. He's a good coach. Jimbo's going to do a good job at Texas A&M. Is he going to win a national title? I don't have any idea. I tend to think not. But they're going to be better. Jimbo Fisher is a better coach than Kevin Sumlin, and they're going to be better. Alabama's a phenomenal team. They're just a machine.
They were very good. Saban does have to figure out this quarterback thing, but
Saban. Can we go ahead and go here? Saban's a bully.
Give me one question.
Yeah.
Give me one quick thing. My other stat here, because I thought this interesting.
Sorry.
I retweeted it on Sunday night. LSU on the first play from scrimmage threw a pass and completed it. It was the first time on the first play from scrimmage of a season they have thrown a pass and completed it since 1989. Almost 30 years since they threw on the first play and caught the ball. Again, they've only thrown it like 4 or 5 times in that stretch, but that speaks something to the team too. We're going to run it. We're going to run it. We're going to run it some more, and we have no quarterback. I mean, Ross Dellinger did the story. I don't remember the stat, but like out of their last 20 quarterbacks, like 14 never took a snap or something like that they've signed, something like that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was a crazy stat.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, go ahead, Nick Saban. You got a few minutes.
His bullying act. I was proud of the media. I'm rarely proud of the media. You know that. People stood up. Not just for Maria Taylor, but just in general.
it would have, what was crazy about that too is when you look at, now look, you've got the dumbass Alabama fans or whatever, but she phrased that question in the perfect way to be completely not what he accused it of being. You know what I mean? Like, she used the exact wording you had to use to not even give anyone a hint of you trying to pull what he was accusing her of pulling. It's crazy.
She asked a very...
Now that you've seen the game...
you played both guys,
how'd they do?
What'd you think?
You would think as innocuous as you could get. But
he's so used to bullying... And he runs over media, and outside of Cecil Hurt and a few people over there, and they take it. They don't take it. They push back, but they push back passively.
They roll their eyes and move on with their day.
They're kind of like, oh, God, you're being an asshole again.
Yeah.
You're a jerk, but whatever. I mean, Cecil Hurt's not getting his feelings hurt, pardon the pun, by Nick Saban. Aaron Suttles is not getting his feelings hurt by Nick Saban. But he bullies. He uses a little bully pulpit. He's gotten a little older, and he's gotten a little meaner. And this whole deal at Alabama with the quarterback deal has been self-made. No one in the media is making a big deal out of it. In fact, everyone in the media is saying it's obvious which one's better. Jalen is the one that made the comments about he got screwed over. No one in the media said, hey, Alabama screwed over Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts said Alabama screwed over Jalen Hurts.
Even in the pseudo-apology, Nick goes, well, I mean, we're just not going to vilify a kid. It's like, whoa, what?
Who asked you to?
Yeah.
Who anywhere has asked you to vilify Jalen Hurts? In fact, most of the media has commented about how much they respect Jalen Hurts.
Kid who's 26-2 as a starter at Alabama, I believe. Something like that.
I vilify the NCAA for not letting Jalen Hurts cash in on his Alabama quarterback tenure.
Yeah.
I don't know one who said anything bad about Jalen Hurts. It's just Saban being a jerk. But I was glad to see people push back and go, come on, man. You're the best coach of all time, but you don't get to treat people like that. You don't get to just act like you want to act. So hopefully some people start pushing back in some press conferences and people push. When he says, I just don't want to see anybody vilify, I would like someone to raise their hand and say, Nick, for the record, who precisely has vilified Jalen Hurts? Can you cite one example of anyone in the media, mainstream media, not Crimson Paul on TiderInsider.com, but one person in the traditional media who has vilified Jalen Hurts? Feel free to take a day. I'd love to see if you could find that because I'd like to make fun of that person. But I don't think it's happened. So quit accusing us of doing something that we haven't done. And hopefully that pushback has started now. Because his act is old.
It's been old.
And I hear the people go, well, as long as you win. Yeah, you know what? You don't get to treat people like shit just because you win. I thought Maria Taylor took the high road. Because I bet she wanted to take that mic and strangle it around his throat. It's a punk move on his part.
Oh, yeah, but the urge so easily would have been, oh, blank you, and move on, like just walk off. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt. So, yeah. You wrote about it a little bit in 10 Thoughts. Those are up on the site at rebelgrove.com, as you said. Also, if you're looking for a realtor in the Memphis area, Stacey Berry, the name to know, a Keller Williams agent looking to help you find your special place to call home, whether it's in downtown, midtown, Germantown, or Collierville. Born and raised in the Bluff City, she knows the dynamic and unique intricacies that the city has to offer. Just want to put you in the 901 today. So if you're looking to sell a home, buy a home, or invest in real estate, call the Berry Home Team. Let Stacey unlock Memphis for you. You can find her at 901-481-6420. Stacey Lane Berry, that's Laine, at kw.com or theberryhometeam.com. Stacey with an E, the name to know in Memphis.
Podcast also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. It's just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. Complete selection of new, previously owned, lease available Nissan vehicles. Great service. The people there, Gene and Sandy, are fantastic. I've dealt with them for more than 10 years. Never had anything resembling a problem. Their service is great. They take great care of you. You can trust them with your service needs. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. The Ole Miss football team returns to the Vault this Saturday at 3 p.m. as they take on Southern Illinois. Get your tickets today by visiting OleMissTix.com. That's OleMissTix.com. You can also join the Pride of the South, the Rebel Spirit Squads, and members of the football team this Thursday night at 6 p.m. for a pep rally at Vaught Hemingway. For more info, visit OleMissSports.com. This podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home and all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with a personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person, all without having to press 10 buttons and without a 5-minute wait. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. We mentioned the Southern Illinois game at 3 on Saturday. Obviously, everyone will be tailgating. If you have not lined up your tailgate, it's not too late to get in touch with Kyle Thornton and the people at 7 South Tailgating. They're celebrating 10 years of business this season. Try them once. You'll never tailgate without them again. They'll set up your own personal gear. You can rent everything from them. No one matches their customer service, their attention to detail at 7southtailgating.com.
If you also need to stock up your own tailgate, Oxford Wine and Spirits, a place you can check out this weekend on College Hill Road next to Lost Pizza. Neil and I shop there regularly. They're giving podcast listeners a discount. Go in, tell them you heard about it in the podcast, spend $150 or more, 5% off wine, 10% off liquor. They've got all the Cathead products, including the Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur we've been talking about. Whether the temperature is hot or cold, either the honeysuckle or the Hoodoo Chicory Liqueur can take care of you this football season. Again, Oxford Wine and Spirits next to Lost Pizza on College Hill Road. Let's get in lines a little bit. I don't know what we'll close with. We'll go to lines next. Again, we got something there? Or keep going?
Seeing this where Nike stocks are plummeting this morning.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a little more time before I frame a full thought, but I am getting my first impression is what we've talked about a lot. I think there are a lot of companies that spend way too much time and putting way too much stock into social media polls and results and buttons.
This is where my recent tendency to just turn it off is backfiring. If you made me tell you what this is about, I know it's about a tweet yesterday and Kaepernick and stuff, but
you're not fully versed in this?
I'm not even remotely fully versed in it. I will tell you also that it's funny. I make fun of people who do this, and now I catch myself going, maybe you're the smart ones.
Turning it all off?
Turning it off to the point where I'm not aware of what's going on, which is not a great way to be, except I notice it's a little happier.
It would be a much easier thing where you're not in a member of the media, where you talked 8 hours a week.
I'm afraid that if I were not a member of the media right now, that I wouldn't.
You might be a really dumb person when it comes to.
I might not be able to tell you who, like, anyone in Congress is.
Yeah. Just live and let live and go eat meatloaf every night at 5:45 and move on with my day.
I will say this before you move on to line. Speaking of, there was a real – it was funny. I was sitting in the press box at NRG, and I was watching the funeral for John McCain.
Okay.
It was on CBS. I was streaming it before the game started. I didn't miss a play for anybody thinks I wasn't paying attention.
It's all right.
But I did miss a few plays of pregame because they don't matter. And I was watching it. And I don't think I'm the only person that felt this way. I thought George W. Bush's eulogy was great. I liked Barack Obama's eulogy. I thought it was, as usual, incredibly – he's a dynamic speaker. Bush, as he gets older, to me, I'm sorry, becomes an even more lovable guy. I like George W. Bush.
Yeah, he's aging gracefully in just the likability standpoint. Yes,
his friendship with Michelle Obama warms my heart. It does. It just makes me happy. They caught the little thing of him passing a piece of candy to her.
Trying to hide it.
And Barack laughing.
Yeah.
And you can tell, if she doesn't genuinely like George W. Bush, she's a hell of an actress. She seems to genuinely like him. And you can tell he almost has a crush on her. In a very platonic way, of course.
Yeah.
He just likes her. He likes her. He thinks she's fun. And that relationship warms my heart. And I miss that about, like, just regular. To me, that's more endearing about our country than some of the crap that goes on now.
Well, I mean, you and I have both read that book, The President's Club, where it talks about the unique relationships between presidents, because there's only about 5 people at most in the world that can understand what that position's like and how you learn and you change because of that position. I mean, George H.W. Bush and the Clintons were incredibly close. The Obamas in 43 and his wife are very, very close. So, yeah, it just – there are certain things about that where it's not about politics. It's about people and things that you can't even dream up that only a handful of people have an understanding to know how to deal with.
When Barack Obama says to somebody, you just don't know what that was like. George W. Bush is one of the 2 or 3 people on earth that can say, I kind of can imagine.
Yeah.
I've
had my own of that.
Yeah, when George W. Bush says, I'm sure he probably thinks there aren't many people who could understand what I was going through on 9/11. Barack Obama can now say, you're right. I wasn't there, but I can imagine. And I just thought, I don't know, the interaction of that.
By the way, episode 4 of Slow Burn is incredible. The most recent one that's come out.
I think I listened to it on the way to the airport. Is that the one about?
It's detailing more about the actual affair between Lewinsky and Clinton. It was really, really well done.
Fascinating, wasn't it?
Yeah. They've all been really, really good.
That the White House could be that lonely of a place.
Yeah. And that you could find that level of privacy just at noon on a Tuesday, in some ways. So
there were we can't do it here.
I really felt bad for Betty Curry, like the secretary. It's like,
what do you do? Yeah. She knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, come on. And again, I thought I knew pretty much everything about this because I'm kind of psychopathic when it comes to some of this stuff. But no, it's great. I learned some stuff. It's been fantastic.
The Slate podcast. I'm about to join the premium thing because I actually want to hear more, and I'm tired of waiting 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The one on Watergate was fascinating, just fascinating, and this one so far, frankly, is better.
Yeah.
And the one on Watergate, man, I give it an A+. So that's not a knock. This one is that. Yeah, I was driving up to Memphis listening to it, and it was just compelling.
Yeah, episode 1 and then episode 4 have been the best ones as far as things where you went, oh wow.
And even the parts of 2 and 3 that dragged were imperative that you understood so that you could put things in context.
Yeah, episode 5 is going to get more into Linda Tripp next week as they go. So anyway,
man, she betrayed the hell out of Monica Lewinsky.
Dude. Oh, I love her justification. We're stopping. I love the because she goes, well, someone had to be the adult in the room. It's like, well,
it wasn't you.
Yeah, like, okay, are we really doing that now? Thanks, Linda.
It also tells you, and we obviously see this in the White House today, just because you wear clothing that has the seal on, you're still a human. You know what I mean? You're still a person. You're a human being.
Yeah. Stuff happens.
I mean, that's why, wrapping it up, that was that moment on Saturday that it almost kind of made me tear up when I saw it. The passing of the candy.
Yeah.
It's cool. Made you feel good that those 2 people in that setting, is a somber setting, of course, it's a funeral, that they could just kind of enjoy each other's company. 2 people from completely different generations, completely different backgrounds, very different political views.
A buddy showed it to me the other day. The Washington Post with a great profile on Jimmy Carter here the last few days. Just about the faceless ex-president that's never really around, and in a lot of ways, did more for America post-presidency than actually during his presidency.
Yeah.
He had all the North Korea stuff, and I guess '94 with Clinton or whatever year it was. He had 2010, I think, again. So it just really an interesting look on Carter. By the way, if you have any interest, but there's our political thing for today. So.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's fine. All right, looking at lines for the week. I'm scrolling through as always, so it might take me a second to find things that are relevant to the SEC.
I'm gonna write them down for our deal real quick.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right.
Save me a little research time.
All right. After the shellacking in Norman, Florida Atlantic returns home to play Air Force. They're 10-point favorites over the Air Force Academy. Neal's Northwestern Wildcats coming off a win over Purdue.
We do what we do. We win close games.
Yes. You can't claim Purdue and Northwestern. You have to pick one.
I said Northwestern.
Okay. Northwestern at home this week against David Cutcliffe and Duke. They are 3-point favorites over the Dukies this weekend in Evanston.
We'll win by 3.
That's what they do.
That's what we do.
All right, your first one here, Mississippi State. They're on the road in Manhattan, Kansas this week, playing Kansas State that struggled over the weekend.
Let's play Guess the Lines because this makes this more fun for me, and at the end of the day, there is a certain degree of entertain myself here.
I mean, I obviously know it, but yeah, go ahead.
I
Have
don't.
at it. All right. How do I? Let me. I got what book are we using while you're doing that?
We usually use the one in the middle, MGM.
All right, gotcha.
I'm going to guess Mississippi State's a 2-point favorite.
You should probably add to that a little bit. Mississippi State is a 9-point favorite over Kansas State in Manhattan this weekend. It opened at 7.5 and has run out to 9 as of right now.
Wow.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow.
You shocked?
That's a big number.
All right.
That's Kansas State, not Kansas.
That is correct. That is Bill Snyder and his EMAW Every Man a Wildcat this weekend.
Oh.
Nevada, they are on the road. They are in Nashville this weekend playing the Vanderbilt Commodores. Vanderbilt coming off a huge win over Middle Tennessee, beat the crap out of the Blue Raiders.
And looked good according to people who saw them.
Yeah, sure. So Vanderbilt at home against Nevada. What do you got?
I'll say Vandy -4.
All right, add to it again. You're off a little bit on these. Vanderbilt, a 9.5-point favorite over Nevada this weekend in Nashville.
Okay.
Because Matt Luke's probably going to be tied to him during his entire tenure. I'll read it here. He looked pretty bad against James Madison in week 1. Dave Doran and North Carolina State. They are 25-point favorites over Georgia State this weekend. Speaking of bad debuts, Chip Kelly, pretty rough at UCLA, losing to Cincinnati. They are on the road in Norman, Oklahoma, and they are 29-point underdogs to the Sooners this
weekend. Luke Fickell's a really good coach. Remember that name.
The Sooners, however, are going to go 2-0, and UCLA is going to go 0-2 this weekend. And Kyler Murray looked pretty impressive at quarterback.
People who saw OU and paid attention to it said that it looked like a playoff team.
The team that sort of kind of hung around with Kentucky a little bit, Central Michigan, they are 6.5-point favorites at home against Kansas this weekend. I think I'd lay those all day because Kansas really
What's Kansas
sucks.
doing going to Central Michigan?
Don't know, but they are. Because you would think Kansas could play anyone they would like to play. You want to play? Yeah, absolutely. We'll play you.
If Kansas calls Ross Bjork, he's like, yeah, done, right?
Can we get a 10-year deal? We'll play you every time.
Yeah, we'll go to Lawrence 5 times over the next 10 years. What the hell? Because you're going 9-1 in those 10 games.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one's going to be, like, firing somebody.
Yeah. That one time. Well, I mean, they played Wake Forest and went to the Orange Bowl last time, so the things actually played Kansas in that game. So yeah, it happens.
I think the Orange Bowl's safe for a while.
Memphis, 4.5-point favorite at Navy this weekend. Just the Tigers, who Ole Miss opens next season.
That's actually a good game.
You like that? You like that one?
If you told me it's an entertaining contest, I'd buy it.
Best game in the SEC this week, the Georgia Bulldogs coming off their win over Austin Peay. I gave a line away. Playing South Carolina this weekend in Columbia. They are 9.5-point favorites at South Carolina this weekend. What would you have guessed?
I would have been close.
Would you?
Yeah, you took a win away from me there.
Yeah, 9-point favorites over South Carolina this weekend. Yeah, 9, not 9.5. It's 9 on the dot. All right. Alabama at home this weekend. They are hosting the Arkansas State Red Wolves this weekend.
I'll say Alabama -39.5.
You're really close. It is 37.5 this weekend in Tuscaloosa. Shaping up for that good 34-3 win for the Tide for the Ole Miss game the next week.
Yeah, my initial instinct is if Saban can figure out a way for his team to not be good Saturday, so he can yell at them, because he's probably just paranoid enough to be panicked about Ole Miss some.
Think so?
Just a little.
Okay. Scar tissue there built up a little bit.
There's some scar tissue, and he knows Ole Miss can score points, and their secondary's young.
Yeah. That's fair. Your Louisiana Monroe team, the Warhawks.
Damn it, do this right. My undefeated Louisiana Monroe
1-0?
Warhawks. You're damn right they are.
Who'd they beat?
Southeastern Louisiana. We rose to the occasion.
Didn't they block a field goal late to win the game?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We did what great teams do in moments of crisis. We rose to the occasion.
They're on the road. They are 6.5-point underdogs to Southern Miss, led by Jack Abraham, who had a good game last week in the opener.
I like Jack. I like his dad, but he will have a very hard time against the Fighting Scholars.
Okay. He did not have a hard time against the Jackson State Tigers last week. And
those are not the Fighting Scholars.
All right, interesting game here, just from a name standpoint, if nothing else. In College Station this week, the Clemson Tigers come calling with Jimbo Fisher at the helm of Texas A&M. What do you got for a line?
Clemson minus 16.5.
All right, you too high. It is Clemson minus 12.5 against the Texas A&M Aggies.
Okay.
Interesting game.
It's going to be a blowout.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, Clemson's been watching all these ACC games over the weekend going, so anybody?
We still got a pulse.
Anybody?
We won the ACC.
I mean, that league sucks.
Yeah.
Real bad.
But Clemson does not suck.
No, they've got
not even a little bit
They've
bad.
got 8 first-round picks on that defensive line.
Yeah. It's a very top-heavy league, and the top is very heavy.
They're going to be all right.
Yes.
All right, the Missouri Tigers are at home, coming off their win against UT Martin. Jeffrey Wright's mother's alma mater, as he reminds us of every single week when UT Martin plays. Missouri at home against the Wyoming Cowboys.
I'll say Missouri minus 16.5.
Add one to it, 17.5 for Missouri against Wyoming this weekend.
All right, I like that one.
I did not realize this game was this weekend, but it is. They got another SEC matchup in Gainesville, Florida. The Kentucky Wildcats are coming calling against Dan Mullen in Florida.
Ooh. That's not a terrible game. We'll be working. We won't get to see it.
It's a 6:30 start.
Might get home in time to watch some of the second half.
Maybe.
I mean, Florida's going to win because they've beaten Kentucky 274
I think it's 28
straight times.
now in a row. Is that right?
Well, the last time that Kentucky won the game, it was during the French and Indian War.
Okay.
I'll say Florida is a 8.5 point favorite.
Let's add to it a little bit. Florida is a 14-point favorite over the
Wow.
Kentucky Wildcats this weekend in Gainesville.
Wow, it's a lot of points.
It is. The Arkansas Razorbacks are on the road this weekend. Chad Morris 1-0, beating up on Eastern Illinois, I think, last week. He has a little bit of a quarterback controversy, as we said. They are in Fort Collins, Colorado, playing Colorado State this weekend, who has been abysmal the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Arkansas is going to end up getting a win here. This was a game that before the season, people looked at it and said, it's going to be a tough one. This is looking like a win. Arkansas's path to 6 or 7 wins looks
Much
a
easier
little
all of a
clearer
sudden.
all of a sudden. I will say Arkansas is a 8.5 point underdog. Favorite.
Let's add to it a little bit. They're a 12.5-point favorite this weekend in Fort Collins. Almost 2 touchdowns.
My inclination is to lay them. I don't think first-year coaches like this will have letdowns. They played really hard for him last weekend.
Potentially a really fun game out on the West Coast that we will see a decent amount of on Saturday night if we so choose. The Southern Cal Trojans, they're in Palo Alto playing the Stanford Cardinal on Saturday night. Stanford a 4-point favorite over Southern Cal.
That will be a good game.
Yeah, it'll be kind of fun out there. Got that. Let's see. Anything else as I'm scrolling down? Michigan State's at Arizona State, if anyone cares. Connecticut's at Boise State, if anyone cares. I'm just reading through stuff.
There's no line on the Ole Miss game, correct?
No, there won't be a line on that game.
No line on East Tennessee State and Tennessee.
Nope.
Tennessee might win a game. Vols be back. No line on Southeastern Louisiana at LSU. And no line on Alabama State at Auburn. All right, good. They covered the SEC. Look at us.
Vegas Insider now
Multitasking.
giving us lots of lines on FCS matchups when they play each other.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why not?
Oh, I don't care. Just
Yeah.
like
Bet which
Tennessee
one to
State hosts Jackson State, and Tennessee State's an 18.5-point favorite. Yeah, we got FCS lines now.
bet. Okay.
Bet on anything. North Carolina A&T, I see, is a 19-point favorite for Gardner-Webb. They beat East Carolina yesterday or 2 days ago.
Where's Gardner-Webb?
I don't know. I'm assuming somewhere over there, Carolina area.
It's somewhere, yeah.
Somewhere over there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm only really good with those, like when Ole Miss plays them in baseball, because they play so many FCS teams or whatever, that I'm not real good on just in general. Let's see. Gardner Webb is in Boiling Spring, North Carolina. The more you know.
Yeah. Did not know that.
Did you not?
Or did not.
You never dealt with Gardner Webb over your storied journalism career?
I've never dealt with them over that, and I don't think that we've gotten anything in the mail from Gardner Webb. The school that she gets the most stuff from lately is obscure, Reed College in Oregon.
Why?
I don't know. I asked her, I said, did you send something to Reed
They
College?
must have one of those deals where if you hit certain parameters, they automatically send stuff out. Like when I was in school, that was Wash U in St. Louis that always did it. I always got tons of stuff from Wash U.
Yeah, she hadn't gotten anything from them that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Reed College, though. For a while, it was Valparaiso, just lit her up. And I was like,
Valpo.
it's weird because Valpo's a Lutheran school. We're not Lutheran. Nothing against Lutherans if you're out there. It's all good.
Not there's anything wrong with that.
I don't have anything wrong with Lutheranism. It's all cool.
Can you tell me the tenets of Lutheranism?
Not even beginning to.
Okay.
But I was a little surprised. And then now it's Reed College.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing in Memphis. So you can local underwriting, understand your market. Pretty big deal there. Also a leader in condo financing and the float down options. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLowe, JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
The podcast is also brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. Please visit her website, meganmphillips.com, MEAGANMphillips.com, or call Megan at 205-602-7929. Again, 205-602-7929. The podcast is also brought to you by Billy's Pecans. Guests join us throughout the week on the Billy's Pecans hotline. It's also the host of the Soft Verbal podcast. We're going to tape that tomorrow at some point, so we'll be bringing that to you, the latest on recruiting as the first big official, not official visit, but unofficial visit weekend rolls around. You should shop at Billy's Pecans, get ready to go to the Grove on Saturday, or one of the next 3 Saturdays. Ole Miss at home against Southern Illinois, a team from Tuscaloosa, and then a Kent State. Kent State wrapping that 3-game homestand up. So lots of opportunities in the Grove to enjoy some cinnamon spice pecans, some toasted pecans, the assortment of chocolate pecans, the cheese Krispies, which are fantastic, Southern pecan toffee, pecan brittle. It's all there. You'll love it. BillysPecans.com or call 1-800-624-7404.
Podcast is brought to you by Tyson Drugs, TysonDrugs.com's website. They have a great app as well, located in downtown Holly Springs. You can give them a call at 662-252-2321 is the phone number. They've got your sildenafil. They got many other options, obviously, for whatever ails you, and they deliver wherever you are. They're also now in Oxford with G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar. They deliver local in the Oxford area. Let's see what do we got going on. Yeah, just a quick thing to educate you there. It is that Nike made Colin Kaepernick the lead to their 30th anniversary Just Do It campaign yesterday.
Okay.
They used the tagline. Let me find it. I don't have it memorized, and I don't want to make sure I'm verbatim here. They are using the tagline. I can't even find it. This is weird considering it's all over social media. But anyway, he's getting a star deal according to Charles Robinson, which is going to pay him millions. There's going to be a clothing line, like the whole shebang, like with Kaepernick.
You surprised there's this much kind of...
Not even a little bit. Are you kidding? Not supporting it or not supporting it, but no, I'm not surprised even in the slightest. I mean, he's the most polarizing figure in sports if you call a person not playing in sports. I'm annoyed with all sides in a way. I'm so live and let live now. I don't have a lot of real strong opinions, but
I know I feel weird that I'm glad to hear you say that because I was starting to think I was the only person on earth that didn't have a strong opinion about the anthem.
I'm annoyed from both directions. I'm annoyed with the people who take what he's saying out of context to make it another argument. I mean, I don't necessarily like. He's a contradiction in and of itself. I mean, like wearing the police socks and stuff when he plays. I mean, there's so many bad looks and interferes with what he's trying to do. But his argument is not anti-American. I mean, protest is what's made this country.
Right.
On the other side, it's fully logical. Nobody said, oh, he is not good enough to be a backup quarterback in the NFL. However, it is fully logical for a franchise to look at him and go, you're not good enough to offset the stuff you bring with it that we have no desire to have as a backup quarterback on our team. Both those things are completely logical. So that's my issue where I'm frankly annoyed with both sides at this point, because it's not just are you good enough. It's, well, do you offset with the distraction that you bring with you because of your – nothing wrong with it, but your desire to be in these issues. You know, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, they could get away with it. But there's not a whole lot of quarterbacks in this league that could have this type of off-the-field stuff attached to it, and franchises turn their head and go, okay, it's all cool, we'll move forward. So, anyway, that's that. I don't know. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, is the tagline to the Colin Kaepernick Just Do It ad. A lot of people going, don't really sure how you're sacrificing everything. You're getting paid millions of dollars to promote advocacy.
Yeah, it does sort of change. And look, you know, I'm a capitalist. Good for him. Okay? But it does sort of take some of the oomph out of his message.
When you're getting millions to promote it.
Okay, so you didn't get paid by the Broncos, but you did get paid by Nike, and money's money. Because that does kind of change things, doesn't it? Because if you're broke and you're him, you have to rethink this. When Denver goes, hey, we'll let you be our backup quarterback, but you can't do the anthem thingy because we just can't. How much you paying me? We'll pay you $5.5 million. Okay, well, I'm in. There's a difference now when you go, well, I can do that because Nike's paying me this entire time.
Oh yeah, there's no incentive to play football at this point.
His attorney is
Mark Garagos.
Yeah, who's really good.
Yeah.
And if you're betting against Garagos and Kaepernick in this deal, you are a risky son of a gun.
But it's so hard to prove.
It is.
I mean,
but I'm not betting.
Grief.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you're not betting with or against. You're just saying, hey, there's some power here.
You've listened to Garagos a lot. I have.
He's
too.
very talented.
You're not betting against his intelligence.
No,
I'm not saying he's going to win, but I'm not willing to go, hey, I'm betting all my stakes against Mark Garagos. Nope.
Oh, but yeah, that's it. No, am I surprised? No. I mean, social media became, and there's, like, you know, like Darren Ravel kept going there and saying, well, see, Nike's winning because social media is talking about it. You're taking social media too seriously. Social media is still such a small segment of this country from a tool that actually means anything, that means there's change in activity in any way. So, I'm fascinated. We'll see where it goes. Yeah, early market shares have not been kind this morning, but I'm nowhere near an economist, and I'm told that's not a huge deal to this point. So we'll let it play out. We'll see what it means. Roger Federer lost in the U.S. Open overnight last night to John Millman. I see on Twitter that Millman is coached by former Ole Miss tennis player Jonas Luchin. He was in the box with Millman last night.
I actually know a little bit about this match. Federer was impacted as much by the humidity as anything. It was very hot there. Jay, if you're listening, today on my Peloton ride, the instructor had been at the match last night, and she was talking about how normally in that building the cool air circulates the way that it's designed, and it's very refreshing.
Okay.
But that in this case, yesterday, the air was so hot and stifling, and it just recirculated, that it was humid and the dry heat all at once, and that Federer just did not handle it well. His serve got away from him in large part because he just got so freaking hot. And normally, if you watch him play, he'll play 7 hours.
It looks like he never
and he doesn't even sweat.
Yeah.
He'll do the little thing with his hair only because.
Look, Father Time's undefeated.
Yeah, it's never lost.
There's a point.
Yes.
Even if that's delayed past most people.
Yes.
I mean, Federer, I don't think is going to be winning majors at 52. So.
And the other guy's from Brisbane, Australia, which I've never been, but
probably very mobile-ish from
I
a
have
heat
heard.
standpoint.
I have heard it is the most humid place on the planet.
It's like Neal yesterday. We're talking to Matt Mott and Stephen McRoberts prior to the Matt Luke press conference, and Neal was becoming very, very amazed that they played soccer in Mobile Sunday at 1:30 p.m.
Hell yeah! Can you imagine? Because you don't go to a lot of soccer fields.
No.
Okay, I've been to soccer fields. Soccer fields are one of two things. And anybody who's out there who's a soccer mom or a soccer dad, you know what I'm about to say. They're either the hottest place on God's earth or they're the coldest place on God's earth. And in Mobile, Alabama on Labor Day weekend at 1:30 in the afternoon playing soccer.
Basically the face of the sun at that point.
Cannot imagine.
He said part of the reason they pulled away was strictly because they were deeper and you were having to play everybody on the field.
Yeah, because I was like, what time y'all play? 1:30. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, 8 a.m.? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So.
We lived there for a long time. 1:30 in the afternoon in September was air conditioner time.
All right, you're at least aware scores. We'll close here. What's one team that is being overrated too fast, one team that's being underrated too fast across the country after 1 week?
Overrated too fast?
Yep.
Probably LSU.
Okay.
Got to be careful.
Gotcha.
Don't want to take anything away from it. It was a nice win for them. Because there was a lot of, hey, if you lose this one, here comes the beginning of the end. But I don't know that Miami was all that. And the team that we're not taking seriously enough after one week, Washington. Probably writing them off.
They still could run it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically lost a road game that they probably win if not for a goofy targeting call.
Well, and I want to see the game in 2 weeks. As good as Washington was, is a chance we're giving too much to Auburn early. There was some holes there offensively that kind of make me go, well.
Sure. And LSU's really good on defense. Yeah. That game.
You let that one get away from you with Alabama and Georgia still on the schedule, and all of a sudden that thing turns fast.
No, Auburn-LSU becomes a very intriguing game.
Yeah, for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's in Jordan-Hare.
Is it?
And that will favor Auburn.
From teams that played FCS teams, I want to see A&M a little more, see what kind of impact Jimbo's had in week 1.
Yeah. All that I was saying earlier was that the people who watched it or were there said that there was a noticeable difference in discipline.
Which is fair. Yeah.
But, it's Northwestern State. So, I mean, yeah. Anybody who's taking too much or too little out
Nichols
of that.
wasn't walking through that door, so.
I just think, sometimes.
Is that Forcade's nephew?
Yeah.
That won the game for Nichols?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They beat Kansas, by the way.
Yes, I was
Everybody.
aware.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling the audience. For Kansas is so bad. I mean, Aaron Dickens, I think, said last week they won 1 road game since 2009. Yeah, 1 road game since 2009.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, wow. Maryland beat Texas again. You didn't make fun of it today?
No, but it was enjoyable to see them lose.
Also good for the Maryland kids. Durkin wasn't a part of it.
No.
The kids aren't at fault here.
Nope.
Good for the kids.
Yes.
It was a good day for those kids. Tom Herman, I don't know. Even inside that Austin media market, getting a lot of pushback this morning, getting turned on him pretty fast. So, yeah, I know.
Just because you once were a dominant program does not make you a dominant program. All right, let's touch on it because it happened. We didn't go here at all. Notre Dame, Michigan.
Oh.
We didn't go there.
I forgot.
I did not watch a lot of it. I sat at a bar. I waited for a long time to see if you could get your computer fixed.
Yeah.
You couldn't. I finally realized, screw it. I went to a bar and got some dinner, and I was watching Cubs-Phillies on my phone, which frankly got more of my attention. I watched a little of Michigan-Notre Dame. Two things, and I'm talking about this in the mailbag. Two things. I don't have the disdain for Shea Patterson that so many people have. I don't have personal feelings of negativity against Shea Patterson. He didn't do anything to me.
Yeah, no, I was planning on writing some of this too this week. Shea
always, let me finish this by saying this. Shea always said he was leaving on a 2-year bowl ban, privately. Did he leave? Did Jordan Ta'amu's presence serve as an impetus to? Probably. But if you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at Sean and Sean Jr., not Shea.
The only negative I can say about Shea's attitude toward us at all was after that Vanderbilt game, and that was strictly brought on by his father.
Absolutely.
Shea, in the recruiting process, helped Ole Miss land a very good class. Shea went out of his way to do our podcast once or twice early in the morning when he was basically half asleep. He was nothing but a good person to deal with. No, I don't have any ill will even in the slightest towards Shea Patterson. Feel sorry for him in a lot of ways, frankly. I saw on the field what I saw at Ole Miss a lot. You and I both had the same opinion. We saw the same things. He bailed out of the pocket too fast. He tries to do too much. He doesn't necessarily stay in the system all the time, and he's played a Notre Dame defense that was very, very good. He has a very good offensive line. He does not have the skill players at Michigan that he had at Ole Miss to save him some on plays where he just kind of improvises. I mean, that's the national media joke of the deal here is Michigan doesn't have a DK Metcalf, DeMarcus Lodge, and A.J. Brown out there to catch his balls. It was fine. Shea's going to win some games, and he's going to get beat by better teams. It's kind of what we expected. I'll be stunned if they're horrifically bad, and I'll be stunned if they go 10-2 and end up in the conversation later in the year. So
he did a lot of the same things that he did at Ole Miss.
Yeah, it looked very similar.
He looked like the same quarterback.
Michigan has tailored its offense to him a little bit. Now he was dealing with some cramps. They pulled him at one point from the McCaffrey kid.
We'll see. People that are saying he was being a baby and running off the field, I'm not going to question whether somebody had cramps on a hot day in August or September. I don't know. I don't share the animosity towards Shea Patterson that so many others do. And I don't have animosity towards his dad either. I just think his dad's, I'm on record here, a psychopath. And when he forced the brother's career to be dovetailed with Shea's, that was pretty weak and a lot of pressure on a kid.
It's kind of interesting. So we'll close here. The Athletic, they're doing every week the Athletic 130 where they rank every team in the country. I guess there's 130 FBS teams.
Okay.
And it's all weighted or at least primarily on what you did on the field versus preseason. They ignore preseason rankings to an extent, obviously.
Okay, sure.
Have Ole Miss checking in at number 15 in the country after 1 week. Too high, but interesting.
Yeah. Where's Alabama?
1. Alabama 1, Auburn 2, Oklahoma 3, LSU 4, Virginia Tech 5, Ohio State 6, Notre Dame 7, Clemson 8, Georgia 9, Wisconsin 10, West Virginia 11, Washington 12, Stanford 13, Boise State 14, Ole Miss 15, Michigan State 16, Penn State 17, South Carolina 18, UCF 19, and Michigan 20. Start the year.
Okay.
Just a thought there. Mississippi State at 22, Maryland at 23, Iowa at 24, and USC at 25. So,
okay.
Yeah, just seeing it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's
a really cool way to do it. It's just going to take 5 weeks before it means anything.
And they admit that in the opening. Go, hey, this is incredibly volatile early in the year. It's going to go all over the place.
Sure.
So, the worst team in the country, according to them, is UTEP at 130. Kansas has 5 teams worse than them.
Where's ULM?
Well, ULM's probably a little higher because they won a game.
Damn right
let's
we did.
See. Let's see.
We won a game.
Okay, they did not call them ULM, so that's the first.
Called them Louisiana Monroe?
I'm assuming. Because when I typed in...
may have just gone ahead and called them the University of Louisiana.
96. Louisiana Monroe is what they called them. They are in between Southern Miss and Middle Tennessee at 96.
So this Southern Miss game is the battle for 95th.
There you go.
That's a big game.
They are 13 spots behind Louisiana Tech, who is checking in at 83, also 1-0. They are between Northern Illinois and Rutgers, and 2 spots behind Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Tech won at South Alabama in week 1.
The mauling of Middle Tennessee did not make the Athletic put Vanderbilt up near the top of its poll, so it's leaving Vanderbilt toward the bottom.
A lot of anti-Vanderbilt bias.
That's what it is. It's Missouri grads that hate Vanderbilt.
Yep.
That's really what it is. It's the journalism, small school. Hey, come on.
Let me guess. Northwestern's number 1 and Syracuse is number 2.
Yeah.
Where's Northwestern?
You would think 26.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's all right. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Have guests throughout the week. Appreciate it. Talk to you then.